Hello there, Tiger fans. We welcome you to another edition of the Tiger Sports Network Interview. I'm Tyson Agler. Joining me this week is senior softball player Rachel Ross. Rachel, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
So we'll get right into things. Rachel, great season last year. You were one win away from getting the first NCAC tournament championship since 2003 and getting a berth in the NCAA tournament. Full lineups back. You have your full pitching staff back. And you have a lot of new and good recruits, so expectations got to be high this year.
Yeah, last year we were kind of not expected to do much. So this year, now that we do have expectations, obviously we're trying to work harder, hit the weights harder, practice harder, and just hopefully be able to make it to the conference tournament again and win this year. Obviously, a lot of other teams have most of their good players coming back, so it's still going to be it's going to be a challenge. But we have a really intense spring schedule that we're playing, so I think that'll help prepare us when we're down in Florida.
And then, speaking of challenges, Coach Matthews last year came in as the new coach, and she challenged you to really be the leader of the team. Talk about how you had to deal with that challenge and meet those expectations.
Well, it was kind of nice because we didn't have, when she came in, there was only a few of us that were returning. So that made it a little bit easier because as long as we bought into what she had to say, obviously we could rally the underclassmen and get them on board as well. I will say when she first came in, myself and the other we were juniors at the time, were kind of like, what the heck is she doing? But luckily we bought in, and I mean, she came in full, ready to go, and she's really helped step up our program.
And then, speaking of leadership, how would you describe yourself as a leader? Would you say you're a rah-rah, get the team riled up, or are you more of a quiet kind of lead-by-example leader?
I guess I would kind of say I'm both. Definitely more in practice, the lead by example, but sometimes I can be the rah-rah cheerleader type. I don't think I'm the more like motivational speaker, but it's definitely more lead by example.
And then you mentioned how Coach Matthews came in last year, had a pretty good first season. She had to replace Becky Hall, who's a great coach for Wittenberg. So now this will be your second season with Coach Matthews. Was there any change that had to kind of shift from when Coach Matthews came from Coach Hall?
They definitely have different coaching styles, I would say. I don't know if there's any big, huge differences, but one of the things that with a new coach, obviously you prove yourself with the old coach. So when you have a new coach coming in, it's kind of like everyone's starting fresh. So you have to show her what you can do, show her kind of what the culture is at Wittenberg, and hopefully that you can both mesh so that you are successful.
And speaking of successful, you've been very successful here in your years at Wittenberg as a softball player. What has been some of the highlights of your career?
Probably one of the big highlights was my freshman year pitching a perfect game because, when you're pitching, you try not to think about that stuff, and it was kind of cool at the end of the game because I wasn't even thinking about it. And then my coach jumped up, she was all excited, and I was like, what's going on? And then, of course, I found out what was going on. And then another huge game was last year when we played DePaul. At the beginning of our conference, I think we started out 2-6 in the conference, which is terrible. And then we started going into some tougher competition, and one of those games was DePaul. And we're not expected to win. They have two awesome pitchers that their ERAs are 0. But we ended up winning both those games, and we had some awesome hitting, awesome defensive plays, and it was just a really cool feeling because you go and think, okay, if we can just get one, and then we got one, and then we went for the other one, got the other one, and that kind of was a big turning point in our season. Kind of helped us get that momentum going into our final game so that we could make the tournament.
Yeah, that was definitely a big game for you guys. I remember broadcasting that, and you guys played great, and that shows how good you guys can be. And I think this year, like you said, could be another great year for the Tigers. Now, stepping away from softball, you're involved with numerous activities here at Wittenberg. Can you tell the fans about what you're involved with?
I'm involved in Greek life. I'm in a sorority, Alpha Delta Pi. I'm also a tour guide on campus. I was a peer mentor last year for Dr. Wilson's freshman intro class. And I also was involved with the Panhellenic Council, which is the governing body of the sororities on campus.
So with all those activities, softball and school, you're managed to keep a near 4.0 GPA. How do you balance it all?
It's obviously, it's kind of cliche, but it's time management. I'm pretty good at planning out my schedule. I like to stay busy, so it's not, it's kind of hard, but I enjoy everything that I do, and I think that's why I can do it because I like everything that I'm involved in.
And then you were rewarded with those achievements by getting a semifinalist spot in the Wooden Citizenship Cup. How big of an honor was that?
That was something that was really, it was awesome, and I didn't really realize how big of a deal it was until I looked at the finalist list or semifinalist list, and it's all D1 athletes, and you see people like Aaron Kraft, who you watch on TV, that I kind of realized, wow, this is pretty cool, and it's something that's nationally recognized, so it felt pretty special.
Well, Rachel, thank you for joining us. Good luck this year. I'm looking forward to broadcasting those games for the team.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That was Rachel Ross, senior softball player for the Wittenberg Tigers. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next time for the Tiger Sports Network interview. This is Tyson Agler saying go Wit and Tiger up.